Ladies and gentlemen, we have a 2023 Can-Am Defender, the HD10. This is the 1000 Defender. We got to do an oil change on this unit. We have oil change kits for all of you Can-Am guys, so go over to teammscparts.com. I have a link down in the description of this video so you don't have to worry about any guesswork and how much oil you need, what oil filter you need. We got all of that covered, and we're going to show you how to easily change your oil and oil filter on your Can-Am Defender. All right, for this job, you're going to need a 17mm socket, and you're going to look right under here on the factory skid plate. It has a bunch of drain holes, but if you'll look at the one that's located pretty much in the center, the bigger hole, you can easily find the drain bolt and get the drain bolt out. That's your drain bolt there. There's going to be a little washer on it. We want to take and clean that because it's also got, could have some stuff packed in around the magnet area of the drain bolt. So we're going to clean that out, let it drain, and it shouldn't take long. Also, just a good little quick tip. Make sure your machine is as clean as possible. It don't have to be detailed, but the cleaner your machine is when you're doing maintenance, service work, the better. So with your oil change kit, you'll get the oil filter that you need. You'll get this washer that you will want to replace the drain bolt washer with, and make sure all that's clean. We'll put that on. You can see this magnet in there. We'll clean that and then insert it back in with the new washer on it. We're now just going back with the drain bolt. Hopefully there's not too much background noise. We're paving the alleyway here between the shop and the showroom. That's gonna be nice. All right, now that we've got the oil drained out, we simply dropped it down. Of course, you can do this without a jack. You can get to your drain bolt by simply sliding under, getting to the bolt. But now we're taking an 8mm socket. So I couldn't get in there with Joel down in there to show you on the camera, but right there is where you're going to get your 3 8mm bolts out. That's holding on your oil filter cap. There's a seal or O-ring that goes around it, so make sure you don't lose that. We are going to replace that though. Remove the oil filter now. Just like so. And you'll want to properly dispose of that. Now we will take and swap out our O-ring and make sure it's clean, and then we'll install our new oil filter and put our cap back on. If you don't have a torque wrench, my suggestion to you is to take and use a 1/4-inch ratchet and 2 fingers in your thumb, and don't try to bow up on it. Joel just removed the dipstick right there. And it calls for 2.1 quarts, is that right? Yep. 2.1 quarts on this machine. So you're gonna have a good bit left over or extra out of your kit. I don't know why Can-Am couldn't round that capacity off or something, but anyhow, it is what it is. We'll put 2 full ones in there and a little bit of the 3rd one. At least you have some extra. All right, so now that we've put about 2.1 in there, we're now going to crank the machine for just a moment, let it cycle through and get oil all in the oil filter area, and just let that circulate so that we can check our oil level. So let it idle for about a minute or so and then cut her off. You're going to remove the old dipstick there, wipe her off with a clean rag, insert it back in so we can check the level.
Don't screw it in though.
Okay, do not screw the dipstick in, just set it in. And check the level. Right at the match is where you want it. We're good to go. So we'll install that back in and the oil change is complete. So again, if you need the oil change kit for your Can-Am Defender, go to the link down in the description of this video or go to teammscparts.com. So while this unit is here, we're going to be changing the air filter out checking it, servicing the air filter, greasing the machine. We'll show you that real quick too before we install the wheel spacers.
3 clips on the air box.
All right. Oh yeah, doesn't look too bad. So depending upon how bad the air filter looks, whether you need to replace it or not, you do need to inspect your air filter, especially if you go on a really dusty weekend at the park or trails, wherever you're riding. If you're taking in a lot of dust, you definitely need to service your air filter, change it if necessary, and we will have air filters on the website as well. Once you get your new air filter, put that back in, make sure it goes all the way in, and then there's
this top. So
yep, arrow to the top, and clamp her back on. Now we're just going to go through to all the grease fittings and put a little grease in them. You can go to all the grease fittings on the A-arms and give them a little grease, upper and lower. Right there, right there, down in there. And on the back, you got your sway bar you can grease, as well as the inner side of your upper and lower A-arms as well. Now that we got everything greased, everything serviced up, we're now going to be installing wheel spacers, but only in the rear. And if you have a Can-Am Defender, you know that to get everything even, it's inset overall about 3 inches in the rear, just like on a CF Moto U-Force as well. So you want to throw on some 1.5 inch wheel spacers, or you can go a little wider for some more stability. And we have those at teammscparts.com. All right, now this is not a requirement, but this is something that we practice on our personal units. We like to put red Loctite on our threads for where the wheel spacers are going to go, because you don't ever want them to come loose, that's for sure. So just a little bit of red Loctite, a dab will do you. Once we put the nut on, it'll spread that into the threads where it needs to go. We're going to just ease up each nut onto the threads, and then we'll torque them down. Then once you get your wheel spacer mounted up, torqued down, you can use blue Loctite. I wouldn't use red, but or you don't have to use any Loctite at all. But for sure, the wheel spacers, just a good practice for that. Now we've got our tire and wheel mounted up, torqued down, and we're going to move to the other side. Just simply repeat the process, and then you'll be done. And that's a wrap, boys and girls. We now have a good even stance all the way around. Looks a lot better in my opinion. It even gives a little bit more stability on uneven terrain and in turns and stuff like that. So again, if you need any of these parts or anything for your Can-Am Defender, or anything else for that matter, go to teammscparts.com and you can get anything that you need. So hope you enjoyed it. Share it with a friend. God bless you. We'll see you in the next one.